morning team. So I just got done doing my morning meditation. Sometimes I'll do 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe a few hours, depending on where I'm at or how I'm feeling that day. Although meditation shouldn't really end just when you've finished the formal sitting meditation. Ideally, you then stay present throughout the day as well, because the moment that timer beeps or the little chime goes or something, the mind rushes in and goes, oh good, now that meditation's done, now we can get back to being stressed out of our goddamn minds. Now we can get back to anxiety and worry and fear. So, you often heard it said, especially in like spiritual circles, oh, so-and-so did this many hours of meditation and like gained the power to see the future, or so-and-so, they sat in a cave for years and gained the power to teleport or fly or something like that. And these are all cool stories. Maybe it has happened. I don't know. How do I know? I don't know. Maybe it's happened, maybe it hasn't. So, I wanted to talk about a few of the superpowers that I have gained from my many hours of meditation. How about the superpower of ceasing a 10-year-long alcohol addiction? I mean, that's a superpower, right? That's not physically. People don't just do that. People can't just, once you're an addict, you're always an addict, aren't you? You can't just cease an addiction. Well, meditation can give you the power to cease that addiction. How about the power to overcome anxiety? How about the power to overcome stress? How about the power to regain your sense of peace, your childlike wonder, your joy, your hope, your optimism, your positivity for the future? How about that? How about that? Why look to be able to communicate with angels or get in touch with your spirit guide or unlock your chakras or any of these? Okay, fine, but why are we looking so far to this extraordinary, supernatural? Why are we looking so far to that when the miracle is in the mundane, right in front of you? How about the ability to go about your life without constantly worrying about what other people think about you? How about the ability to go through your life without constantly being in fear that what you're doing is the wrong thing, that you're not getting far enough in life, that you're not making enough progress, that you're not... How about the ability to just enjoy your life and to still work hard and diligently for a noble cause and just enjoy your work too and enjoy your relationships? How about that as a goal, as something that we're trying to attain? Why look for this miraculous spiritual enlightenment when actually the miracle is your daily life? And this is, I'm not even being well, maybe it is scientific, I guess, but it's actually, this goes deep into the Buddhist roots. They say, Buddhist is technically atheistic, and they speak about my miraculous power. See if I'm butchering the quote there. One of the great Zen monks, when they said, what supernatural powers have you attained? He said, my supernatural power is chopping wood and carrying water. And I've always found a great deal of peace in that, because we're often like rushing around looking to do amazing things, and actually you'd be surprised at just how amazing your daily mundane tasks are. To chop wood and to carry water is really quite something. And that really is it. Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to just move about your life in a space of peace with a clear mind, without anxiety, worry and stress? Wouldn't it be great to not be addicted to any substances? Wouldn't it be great to not be addicted to entertainment and social media and to not have this strong pull towards that? Here's another superpower. How about losing your fear of death? You might say, well, that's pretty intense. Like, can that really be done? That's one of our fundamental fears, one of our most basic primal fears. You can't lose your fear of death, surely, but yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because when we say we fear death, it's not what we don't fear the physical death as such. The mind and the ego fears ceasing. The unity of opposites, as always, this curious unity of opposites. The one thing that we really should not fear is the one thing that we fear the most. Because once you're in the tin, you're in the tin. You know, it's over. Nothing could get to you ever again. Ever. It's done. It's a wrap. No more pain, no more suffering. Job done. That's it. What we should really fear is life. Life is terrifying. You could step out this door now, all number of awful things could happen. But we don't fear life, we fear death for some reason. Because we supposedly don't know what's happening after. But if you get deep enough into meditation, you can experience what happens after. Let me explain that a little further. So, deep in meditation, we begin with focusing on the breath. Do it with me now. We focus on the breath. Allow the breath to rise and fall. Staying fully present, open awareness to all the sensations in the body, the sounds around us, sensations, temperature, and staying fully present. No future. I'm not worried about the future or the past, because those things don't exist. There is no future, there is no past. There we go, just taking care of all of that. Isn't that a relief? Oh, there is no past. Oh, good. Oh, there is no future. Oh, well, what am I worried about then? And in doing so, we begin to understand that this thing that we've been carrying around, this story of me, the story of my name, my history, all of these things that happen to me, all of these things that I want to do in the future, are just a story. It's quite a useful story. Sometimes we need to tell ourselves this story in order to make decisions and to discern and what to do in order to act. So we might need a bit of this story, but sometimes we forget it's just a story. I mean, this story only exists in your mind. Other people may have images and perceptions of you, but it's not going to match the same story that you have in your mind. So the story of you only exists up here. And so in meditation, we can bring ourselves conscious and awake and not drugged, not in a trance. You can bring yourself to the state of presence and see quite clearly that the story of you is a myth. And so we drop it away, and the story of you then dissolves and disappears, leaving only pure, perfect, conscious presence. Now, in a sense, the story of you has died in that moment. And yet something continues. Your open, conscious awareness continues. So you can carry on without your story, without your self-image, without this constant worrying and fretting about who I am and who I should be and what I should do and what do other people think and should I do this and should I do that. Drop all of that, and what remains is really quite wonderful. Total serenity and peace. And in death, this is all that happens. The story is gone. Now, we feel like death is final. But when the sun goes down and it becomes night, do we fear that the sun won't come up again? The sun's gone down, we know that. Day follows night. Life follows death. The clues are everywhere, everywhere. What goes up must come down, but what goes down must come up. Everything is a cycle. Everything is a cycle. When it becomes winter, are we afraid that it's never going to be summer again? Of course not. We know that this is a cycle. And so, when one body and life goes, do we really think that's the end? What waits for you on the other side is nothing to fear. And deep in meditation, and particularly, although I do think all meditation is fantastic, particularly the Advaita meditation, or non-duality. So that's a posh word for non-duality, which means recognizing that there is no individual self. It's all part of one gigantic whole, essentially. All meditative practice is fantastic, but I will say, don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, well, anything can be meditation. I see that sometimes. Oh, well, what I do is I listen to music and go for a walk. That's my meditation. Your mind is still going to be whirring away and you're still going to be lost in the story of me. It's not quite. For me, the meditative practice has to be a discipline for overcoming the mind's automatic tendencies to not get involved. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about this morning, team. Feeling so free, so peaceful, so energized. Curious paradox, that. Peaceful and energized. I do guided meditations. I have a lot of them on my YouTube, but I also have lots of guided meditations on the Insight Timer app. It's a free app. You can get it from the App Store. It's free. All the meditations are completely free. You can listen to them at any time. And I'm right on there, and everything's going on there. And it's a fantastic app because it allows me to earn for the work that I do on there. So you'd be supporting me a great deal if you went and checked it out. Anyway, that's everything I have this morning. The superpowers from meditation. Well, my supernatural power and miraculous activity, chopping wood and carrying water. You still have time.